lucky can one guy be? I kissed her and she kissed me. Like the fella once said, ain't that a kick in the head? The room was completely black. I hugged her and she hugged back. Like the sailor said, quote, ain't that a hole in the boat? My head keeps spinning. I go to sleep and keep grinning. If this is just the beginning, my life is gonna be beautiful. I've sunshine enough to spread. It's just like the fella said. Tell me quick, ain't love a kick in the head? Like the fella once said, ain't that a kick in the head? Like the sailor said, quote, ain't that a hole in a boat? My head keeps spinning. I go to sleep and keep grinning. If this is just the beginning, my life is gonna be beautiful. She's telling me we'll be wed. She's picked out a king-size bed. I couldn't feel any better or I'd be sick. Tell me quick, oh, ain't love a kick? Tell me quick, ain't love a kick in the head?
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Spike Kool-Aid for Friday, January 22nd. We've got super championship weekend, 23rd. My bad, y'all. Hey, y'all didn't know I'm a huge Dean Martin fan. I actually owned his long time ago. He had a variety show. It was called the Dean Martin Show, and I wind up QVC got me, bro. I ordered all these little Dean Martin things, DVDs. So yeah, ain't that a kick? Yeah, man, I'm feeling good today. What's up, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the chat. You know, I had to go live today. I said, Derek, you got to go live, bro. You got to talk about it because on the next time you get on the show, it might be irrelevant. So we had to talk about it, man. Today's show has no clear direction, but we're going to kick it off with Stafford going to his second NFC Championship game. And how do we feel about that? How do you feel? It's funny, man. It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since the trade. It's been 4 years since he won his first Super Bowl. And I don't think he's going to get there, but you never know. You never know. Stafford, if anybody can get there, it's going to be him. It's a division rival. So it's going to be quite the game. The only one I'm going to watch, I'm actually not going to watch the AFC Championship game. I don't care. And if Stafford doesn't make the Super Bowl, I'm not going to watch it. The reason I would watch it is not for Stafford in any type of way. It's for this Lions organization. Because the reason I played that song, ain't that a kick in the head? I played it because Stafford, where Stafford is right now, is a kick in the head. And if he makes it to a second Super Bowl, that's even a bigger kick in the head. That's a boot in the head. That is a boot in the head, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good today. I had to sit and just kind of process some things. So shout out to D-Mac Bud Tribe. So family weather builder or family wealth builder. I just got to tell you, you asked the question yesterday and you said something, and I'll tell y'all because we in a personal group right now. It ain't a very large setting, so I'll tell you. So the thing with Omaha Steaks, okay? Omaha Steaks and I had something, okay? We were building something, and Omaha Steaks threw that away for what he has now. So that's the whole issue, and I don't forget that stuff. So I wanted to answer that question. In this space, I realized trust nobody. Trust no one, bro. Everybody is typically out for themselves. and I had to learn that the hard way. So that's what that is. I felt like I owed you an explanation. Braylon in the building. What's up? What's up? We got Aaron says, what up, though, D? I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling good. I thought that was Derek singing. Hey, I can belt it too. I can belt a little tune or two, man. Frank Sinatra, that's my guy too. A thumbnail matches perfectly with the song. Yes, it does. Don Burr, what is you doing here, bro? What is you? I just saw you somewhere else, bro. You got 2 accounts. What is you doing over here, bro? I saw you. I saw you over there trying to do what you do best, defend the Detroit Lions. What you say? It says every team left doesn't have 2 Pro Bowl DEs, first round picks with their names on it on a D line. Don, you know what? That might be true, but guess what? They take chances on somebody like DeMarcus Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? They made a trade, right? The Seattle Seahawks, they made a trade for a defensive lineman, if I'm not mistaken, in the time that Brad Holmes has been here, bro. So, look, we at the crib. We done been to Cabo, Cancun, and now we booking to go on a Royal Caribbean cruise while our ex-quarterback is playing in the NFC Championship game, bro. It ain't nothing you can say, bro. It ain't nothing you can say, Don. It ain't nothing you can say, man. I'll see you next year, bro. Let me see. Perfect intro to your pod. What up, though, Derek? Good afternoon. What's up, D? What's up, man? From Carnival Sunshine. That's what's up. DA, I'm going to try to get that. Bro, it is 3 degrees up in here in Michigan. It's 3. They talking about your pipes busting inside your house. Like, that's how cold it is in Michigan, man. It is cold. They canceled school today. Finally, you know what I'm saying? Michigan be tripping, bro. Did you know they only get 6 school days, like snow days a year? That's it. I'm like, dog. So you gonna put my child in harm's way for, like a school day? Come on, dog. It's supposed to be about the safety of the children. You know, I believe the children are the future. D. Martin is a boss. You know, that studio smells like steak and martinis. Man, name me the centers left who's playing both DEs on each time. I don't care. They not my teams. I don't care like that. So I care about my team. Derek, it's a lot of people saying the hire's not as bad as we overreacting. Of course they are. That's what they're supposed to do. I'd rather see Stafford there than the Bears. So that's D. Martin's way of saying ain't that about a bleep. Yeah. What's up, Mon? Mon says, man, if Stafford gets another Super Bowl, good for him. We got our own battles to worry about, real talk. But you know what? That's the whole point. That's the whole point, Mon, is why I put him on the thumbnail. Because this is deeper than the surface. This is deeper than the surface. And if Matthew Stafford wins his second, we'll see. The feel in Grand Rapids is -8. How about, okay, let me see. It's currently 5 degrees and it feels, what does it feel? It's like negative something. So yeah, I better put on my gloves. Derek, how did you like Raising Cane's? It's not all that to me. Kelly, I'ma keep it a buck. I was not that impressed. However, I will say the chicken tenders, I'm like, dog, first of all, the fries was like regular fries. I'm like, you couldn't give me no Cajun fries. You couldn't give me no seasoned fries. It was just fries. I'm like, okay. The Raising Cane sauce, my son loved it. I was like, what is this? Like, I wasn't too thrilled about it. It was unique. But I will say this though. The chicken tenders, they taste fresh. Like, they didn't taste frozen. You know what I'm saying? They had a fresh tenderness to them. I was like, okay, these kind of good. But it wasn't all that. It wasn't like people falling out the door. I mean, I went in to pick it up, and it's people everywhere. It's people inside eating, inside in the line. It's people, and I understand that we just now got ours. Like, I know in St. Louis and down south, they had them already. And it was people, the line was like around the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? So I had to park in like the Home Depot parking lot to walk to Raising Cane's and get my food. So, yeah. But I was like, it's all right. It's all right. My son loved the sauce, though. He was like, this is good. So, man, it's -4 here, and the wind chill is 27. Fave says, I love Raising Cane's. I told you Raising Cane's was overrated. Yeah, I mean, we just got one. Got to go to Big Chicken in Livonia. Where's that at? I can't identify the flavor. What, of the sauce? Yeah. It's like a weird kind of thing. Like, I was like, is this ranch? Is this spicy bar? Like, what is this? What am I trying to say? All right, let's get into it. I said my what up, those to everybody. let's get into the topic of this show. The topic of this show is basically where are we at? Like, of course, there's nothing happening. We hired Drew Petzing. We've got Drew Petzing and Zone C, and all I've seen is people all week trying to cope and figure out, well, if you look at it from this angle, if you tilt your head just right and you turn down and you look at it at 30 degrees, it ain't that bad. It's not that bad. Drew Petzing, it's not that bad. He didn't have the personnel that we had when everyone else is saying this dude sucks. Hey, we will see. We will see. But let me get into what I want to talk about today. Wings a Million. Okay, where is that? So far, Wingstop is pretty good. It's pretty good. It depends on who cooking it, though. You know what I'm saying? Don't you hate that when you go to some, you had something that's real good? Like, I had Savvy Sliders for the first time, like, in the summer. And I had the Cajun fries, and I was like, this is delicious. And then I went to another one, had the same thing. It was like, it's all right. I had this honey. It was like it was a slider with egg on it, and it had like honey bacon on it or something like that. It was good, and I had never had it before, so I destroyed it. I'm willing to see what he about. I'm not coping. This mofo better work. I have to see it to believe it. Nah, Wingstop is the best. Hey, Lori, how you doing? Wings a Million in Westland. My bad. Okay, Eric, where's that at, bro? Because that might be right up the street from me. I'm just saying. All right, let's get into it, man. Detroit Lions fans, we are celebrating the offseason. We are in Cabo. Matter of fact, I went to Cabo, Cancun. Now the Detroit Lions are taking a Lions Experience cruise on Royal Caribbean on championship weekend. So as a matter of fact, if you got your tickets, you are going to be there with St. Brown. Brad Holmes is going to be there. He's actually going to have security around him because he understands that he's felt this team. Dan Campbell, his wife, is going to be there. Jared Goff is going to bring his daughter, Kristen. As a matter of fact, she's going to do a supermodel shoot on the beach. You know how you park? You've got the boat will dock every so often, and she had coordinated her supermodel shoot, and it's going to be a special episode about a special article about after you give birth, how you can bounce back and get the body that you had before. And of course, all of that was made up. Okay, I don't want nobody thinking I'm out here spreading some type of lies or something like that. I like to have fun, and I got to do something because my team ain't playing in the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship game. Like the main topic of this video, Matthew Stafford. And I understand that Matthew Stafford is not our concern, but he kind of is. He kind of is. 5 years ago, when Stafford was going to the NFC Championship game, he had to, it was everybody, not everybody, I'm being gratuitous when I say everybody. Most were rooting for Matthew Stafford. And it's funny because they felt like Matthew Stafford took the burdens of the city, the losing of the city of Detroit. They took it to LA, and they were rooting for Matthew Stafford from Detroit. As a matter of fact, I remember a interviewer asked him, he said, what is it? How do you feel? How does it make you feel knowing that the whole city is behind you, where you came from? You asked for a trade. You got that trade. You're winning. They're rebuilding. How does it feel? And he said, they don't have to do that. They don't have to do that, but it's cool. He said something but he said the main thing I remember is they don't have to do that. Then he goes and he wins his Super Bowl. But to get there, I mean, some things had to happen. You had to have, Tom Brady is coming off his Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got the blown coverage. Cooper Kupp is wide open. You had the vintage Stafford, spike it, field goal. You have 49er safeties dropping interceptions that could seal the game. So things had to line up for Stafford to get there. At the end of the day, he wins a Super Bowl. And I remember hating everything about it. I hated everything about it. I hated from the moment he was traded, all the publicity he got. He was on every magazine cover. All of a sudden, the love that he didn't get in Detroit, he got in LA. And he was the same quarterback. Nothing changed. This guy didn't even take a snap for the LA Rams, and they were already Super Bowl favorites. Right? And I just, and I said, wow, that's how. So when I saw him making his run, for me, it wasn't about, oh, you're taking the city with you, and we're going to know how it feels like to win, because that's not what I felt. I felt the complete opposite. I said, oh, this is not going to be a good look. And I was rooting for this guy to lose with every ounce of fiber in me. I did not want him to win. And when he won, I was sick. I was sick because I'm like, man, that it cannot be a bigger kick in the head to our organization than him winning a Super Bowl the year he leaves. Not the year, not the next year or 2 or 3 years later. Matthew Stafford he didn't get to the NFC Championship game 5 years later. He got there 1 year later. And it didn't disappoint, right? Then the Detroit Rams show up, and that was the worst. To me, that's blasphemy, man. If you own some Detroit Rams merchandise, you need to turn in your Detroit Lions fan card. You can't, it's not a thing. That's not a thing. So now fast forward to 2025, the season. Matthew Stafford is in his second NFC Championship game. But let's look at the history of what has happened with the parallel paths that this team is taking, right? So Matthew Stafford leaves. He goes to wins the Super Bowl. The Lions have the second pick in the NFL draft. It was literally polar opposites. We were one loss away from having the first pick when the Rams had the 32nd. You're talking complete mirror images. Year 2, neither one of our team make the playoffs. We were closer than them. But ironically, we needed the Rams to beat the Seahawks in the last game of the season, but Matthew Stafford was hurt. Year 3, we beat them in the wild card round. Year 4, we're the first seed. We get eliminated in the divisional round. Matthew Stafford gets eliminated by Jalen Carter, sacking him. If Jalen Carter doesn't reach him, Matthew Stafford is in his second NFC Championship game in 4 years. But you know what? He made amends this year. He's in his second one in 5 years. Your team didn't make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Not on the road. It's a division rival. And the Seattle Seahawks are about that life. Their defense going to be all over him. They just matched up a couple weeks ago. You see what they did to the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know if they whip them that bad. But if some miracle Stafford wins this game and he goes to a second Super Bowl, he got a legit chance to win it. He's got the offense to do it. And I'm thinking, I thought winning the first one was worse. And we had these conversations before last weekend when the Bears were eliminated from the playoffs. Which one would be worse? Matthew Stafford winning his second Super Bowl in 5 years, or Ben Johnson winning a Super Bowl 1 year removed? They're almost the same, like mirror opposites, right? Or mirror images. Ben Johnson was very close to duplicating Stafford's success. Now, we all thought that they were going to run out of steam, and they did. It took them a miracle just to send that game into overtime. So we knew that was going to happen, but they just kept finding a way. The Bears, that is. They just kept finding a way to win and continue. Started 0-2. I found out, which is totally unrelated to this video, but that the Bears, one of the Bears fans, their son was born when the Bears were 0-2 or 0-2. And so he named his son Owen for 0-2, which is insane. But I thought that was classic. Only a fan would do that, right? So now they're eliminated, and now we're looking at Stafford staring his second Super Bowl in its face. And even the NFC Championship game alone is kind of a slap in the face, right? But getting to a Super Bowl is a slap in the face. It's even worse. Winning it would be the ultimate, nail in the coffin for me. So here's what I came up with. And tell me what you think about this. If Ben Johnson would have won the Super Bowl, to me, that would have been a knock on the regime. That would have been a knock on Brad Holmes. That would have been a knock on Dan Campbell. That would have been a knock on Sheila Hamp. If Stafford wins a second Super Bowl, you know what that's going to be a knock on? The organization as a whole. The organization as a whole. Think about this. And this is why I think that, in my opinion, and I'm not even being biased here, I think that Stafford winning the Super Bowl for the second time has much more weight than Ben Johnson. Think about this. The Detroit Lions, only NFC team to never appear in the Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions are the oldest team in the NFL to never appear in the Super Bowl, right? We had Matthew Stafford for 12 years. He's been in LA for 5. In those 5 years, he has been to the playoffs 4 out of 5 times. He has been to his second NFC Championship game. He has been to and won a Super Bowl, and he was one sack away from a third NFC Championship game in 5 years. And he was with Detroit for 12 years. So he hasn't even been in LA for half the period of time. And he has made the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, missed the playoffs, got eliminated in wild card contention against us, made it to the divisional round, made it to the NFC Championship game. It's only 1 year out of those 5 that Matthew Stafford has not been competitive. And he was hurt. In year 2, Stafford was dealing with back issues. Baker Mayfield was there, right? So can you really even put that on Stafford? Either way, he was on the team. Stafford makes the Super Bowl. That's where he is now is already bad. Getting to the Super Bowl, that would be worse. Pulling it off is even worse. So in 92 years, the Detroit Lions have championships. But in the 60 years that the Super Bowl has been around, 60 years that the Super Bowl has been around, the Detroit Lions have never made it. Matthew Stafford is 60 minutes away from making his second in 5 years. That is a knock on the organization as a whole. We retired Calvin Johnson, winless. Calvin Johnson didn't even win a playoff game. We retired Barry Sanders. I remember watching Bye Bye Barry. And when they lost in 1991 to the Washington Redskins, Barry even thought that they were built to go back. He said there was no doubt that they were going to be back in that position. They never made it again. They didn't even come close. Why, to me, I'm saying to myself, this might be the biggest blessing of all time. Don't get me wrong, I hate this. I don't have as much animosity as the first time. To me, the damage has already been done. You winning the Super Bowl a year removed from the Detroit Lions is you cannot get any worse than that. To me, winning a second one is the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, if you will. I think that this is exactly what might need to happen. I won't be cheering for him to win it, but imagine, how are you going to feel if you're Sheila Hamp, you're Brad Holmes, you're Dan Campbell, you are Jared Goff, you are Amon-Ra St. Brown to tells us to relax. When your ex-quarterback wins twice in 5 years, how are you going to feel? If that's not a kick in the head, I don't know what is. Big Back for Life with the super chat says, if Stafford wins MVP and another Super Bowl, he for sure is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Do you think he retire a Ram or Lion? That's a great question. I've thought about that. I think, honestly, I don't know. I feel like he's going to retire a Ram because the Rams are, in the 5 years that he's been there. Do you know that Matthew Stafford had appeared in his last playoff game, according to the broadcast, was playoff game number 12. I was like, wow. So in the 12 years he was in Detroit, he made it to 3 playoff games, all wild card. His first playoff game was 2014. No, it was 2011. And we lost to the Saints, I believe it was. Then it was so it was in year 3. Then it was 3 years later against the Dallas Cowboys. And then it was almost 3 years later in a game that we crawled into the playoffs. I think we were the 6th seed, and we got destroyed by the Seattle Seahawks. It was 28-6. That was the last time Stafford saw the playoffs. Never won a game. Megatron never won a playoff game. Both of them guys, and Megatron was retired by the time we played that last one. He had already packed it up. So he only been to 2. So for me, Stafford winning would be, I don't think, like, there's no defending the Lions anymore, right? It is a huge, ginormous blemish on the organization. It's already been done. But that would be the ultimate kick in the head. I don't think he gets past Seattle. Seattle is not playing around. They're at home. And they are built to win the whole thing. But if he does, I mean, even where he's at now, to me, that's already a giant blemish on this regime. In 5 years, you have done what you could not do in 60 in Detroit. It doesn't get any worse than that. It really doesn't. So I think that this team might need for Stafford to win another one. This fan base might need it. Not in the Detroit Rams way, but in a wait a minute. What the heck is this? What just happened? What just happened? You mean to tell me the guy that couldn't win here, the guy that we wanted to put all the blame on, the same way we do our current quarterback, left, has been competitive in 4 or 5 years, has been in the playoffs for 4 or 5 years, has been to a Super Bowl and won it in 5 years, has been to a second NFC championship game in 5 years, was a sack away from a third championship game in 5 years, and it ain't us? This is the definition of it's me, not you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, I don't want him to win nothing. He don't have to win nothing. But if he does, that's going to be the ultimate kick in my organization's head. Let me see. What's up? Says, reflect on what if the Rams win is partly just good luck or they don't have great alone in elite defense. I hope Brad cringes when it happens. Hey, you and me both. Brad, I found out what he's actually doing during the offseason. I got insider information. You want to know what it is? Let me know if you want to know this insider information. Kamal says, I still don't get the Stafford hate. 1 minute everyone in Detroit was cheering him on. Then everyone is booing him. And now everyone wants him back. People need to think for themselves. You know what, Kamal? That might be true, but your boy ain't changed at all. Look, boo. I have never been. I know you ain't talking about me because I got the receipts, bro. I got the receipts. You know what I'm saying? I have hated from day one. Day one. All right, he got all his flowers with the Rams. Let me see, 26-6. Okay, it was 26-6. Let me see. That doesn't make sense to me, says Kelly. Why would Stafford stay with the Lions when each year he gets beat to a pulp every snap and never wins? I was happy he left and won. You know, and I know it was some. Faith says, I was young and cried all night after that Seahawks playoff game. Dang, that's cold, bro. I'm glad you feel better now. Opinion question. Who's the better QB in Rams franchise history, Matthew Stafford or Kurt Warner? You know what, bro? I would have to look, but, I like the numbers. But I think that, I think Kurt, that's a good question. That's a good question. And you know what? I can't answer that because I don't have the stats to answer that. But I think just based off of, like, surface, meaning if you take more than just the gameplay into consideration, I think you got to give it to Kurt because of his story. You know what I'm saying? Undrafted, greatest show on turf, all of that. Matthew Stafford was a first overall pick. He had, his team was handed to him on a silver platter. He didn't have to work for anything. Stafford didn't have to work for anything. Let's be real. He didn't have to work. That's why I'm so fond of Jared Goff, because Jared Goff, to me, reminds me of a dude that is talented, and he just doesn't get the recognition he deserves, right? And I feel like that there are many organizations in the NFL that could take Jared Goff on a Super Bowl. I really do. From my understanding, there was a lot of teams that wanted to trade for him, that would call the Detroit Lions in the offseason for Jared Goff. One of those teams was before, of course, Jaden Daniels was drafted, the Washington Commanders. I think that it's at least a handful of teams that would take Jared Goff, even now at 31 years old, even with that contract. I think, and one of the reasons that I'm cheering for Jared Goff as well is that thrown away, the fact that he was thrown away. The dude was trashed. Like, what was I watching? I was just watching something where there was another player that wasn't even told he was traded until it was over. And I just think that Jared Goff was just disrespected ultimately, right? You draft this dude, number 1 overall, you pay him a bunch of money. If you're ready to move on, right? Tell the dude, Jared, it ain't working. We got to find something else, right? Don't blindside the dude and trade him and he doesn't even know he's traded. To me, that was just That was nasty. That was nasty. Raw Detroit in the building. What up, what up, what up? Says, I only want him to win so Brad can get embarrassed. You know what, K-Dub? I'm not going to go that far. But, you know, I wouldn't be tripping. I wouldn't be tripping. I wouldn't be tripping. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say I want him to win, but I just put it like this. It wouldn't hurt if he did, because everybody going to turn and look at Brad with that slow, methodical turn. They're going to be like, this was going to happen. Here's Brad. The camera is Brad, right? So this Brad Holmes and this the rest of the fan base. They're going to be like, I'm telling you, that's how they're going to look at Brad Holmes if Stafford win another one. Because we all know Stafford should not beat Seattle. But one of the things that is, I think, the kind of the wild card or the X factor is that these are division teams. But Seattle, they took San Francisco out back and beat they tail. I'm talking about they parents came in to identify them and couldn't recognize the body. They couldn't recognize the body. Dude, did your son have any identifying marks on him? Is there any tattoos or anything? Yeah. He got a heart on his foot, on his big toe. Oh my God. And I'm not trying to make fun of anybody that has to go through that, but you know, that's what they did. They beat them so bad they couldn't even be. They had to use dental records to identify them. That's how bad that was. So we'll see. We'll see. Ours, let me see. Ours just getting on the right foot. Okay, man, I don't look at it like you do. Two separate situations. It's too many cogs in play to win a Super Bowl. That franchise is better put together than ours. Okay, Mon, you talking about me? You talking about me? Like what? Oh, the insider scoop. Dang, what was I saying? Oh, I know what it is. I got the insider scoop. The insider scoop, okay? This is between me and y'all, all right? You can't tell nobody. Matter of fact, I'm going to delete this stream when all of this is over. The insider scoop, there's an insider to the Lions organization that told me, said, Derek, you want to know what Brad Holmes does during the offseason? I was like, yeah, man, I want to know. I need to know this because I want to know if he's getting this team better. He told me that Brad's priority is designing villain hoodies. He's got his own little, he does it in the basement. And instead of like trying to get the team better or anything like that, his primary goal is to come out with different variations of the villain hoodie. And I was like, oh, that would explain why we haven't seen it in a while. He said, exactly. And I was like, so what kind of designs does he have? And he was like, he got one with the lion in the middle. He's got one that's French. So it says villain, you know what I'm saying, instead of villain. He's got a couple that he's working on, but that's where all his attention is at, is making better villain hoodies so that he can start to, because remember he said that he was thinking if we were going to sell the merch, if the Lions were going to sell. Dang, man, I almost made it. I almost made it, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've been nominated for Best Dramatic YouTuber, Detroit Lions YouTuber. So watch the YouTubies. A matter of fact, they call it the Oscars, the YouTube Oscars. The YouTube's first year of the Oscars is this year, and it's February. So I'm going to, I put in my submission. I told y'all yesterday I'm trying to get on Tubi. And, so that's it. First, they said that you needed to be on Tubi to get on the Oscars. And I was like, well, why you got to be on Tubi when it's YouTube, right? So, I'm actually on the committee of the Oscars. Got him. Oh, man. He sits on the couch with his hands under his booty while reading a magazine and watching the Joker movies. Folie do. I almost switched off that. Says, what a disappointment for this team and the future team. What's up, team D-Mac? How you doing, man? I'm coming back to Detroit to film Tubi next week, bro. Hey, hey, studios. Your junk better be lit, bro. I want the link and I want to watch this movie. You better not have no boom mics in camera. You better not have the wax special effects. Your movie better not win. It better not be on no Tubi compilation, bro. I'm serious. Queen of Kings is up now. Hey, I might have to check it out, bro. D-Mac says, let's face it, Derek, you're the best. Hey, Thank you. So Brad Holmes is not going to do anything. Oh, Will. That was a joke. I want to be very clear about that. I have no insider. I am, I have no attachment to the organization. That was all a parody. So take nothing I said from that whole segment true. It was true. All right. I want to make that very clear. King of Queens. Okay. All right, bro. Do I need to log into Tubi? Or can I just watch it? Sleepers in Detroit, a Tubi original. Yes, bro. I don't want, because I don't be lying. It says, bruh, do it. It do be some Tubi blunders, bro. Like, yo, it's crazy. Me and my wife sat down and watched a compilation, man. I mean, it was crazy, bro. I saw one where the dude did like a wanted. He did where he curved the bullet, bro. I was like, yo, I didn't even know this was a real thing. I didn't even know like Tubi was real, bro. You can watch it. Tubi is free. Okay, cool. So I can just sign, like, I don't need to create an account. I can just type in, that's what's up. What up, Derek? Says, I agree. D, I got my Lions news from you, bro. Only true fan. I appreciate that. It's a lot of us out there, man. It really is. So I don't know, man. How are y'all feeling? Like, so what has it been? It's been almost 3 weeks, right? This Sunday will be 3 weeks since the Lions have played. And I kind of feel like the offseason is moving pretty fast but I'm like, dang, man, this is the first time in 2 years that we haven't had a game in like the middle of January, right? So we had a game on the 12th. I think the 12th is when did we play? Okay, so the Commanders, we lost on the 18th. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we beat on the 21st. So this is like the first time that we were done since 2022, where all of January was going to go past and we weren't going to have a game. So Sunday will be 3 weeks since we've had a game. And it doesn't seem like it's been 3 weeks. I don't know why. I think maybe because I'm watching the Pistons now. So I'm watching, matter of fact, they play tonight and they play the Houston Rockets. I know Cade didn't play the other day. So yeah, Pistons are the real deal, man. So I've been watching them and I've been watching other basketball games as well. I'm kind of disappointed that the Michigan Panthers are not going to be around because I could have really used them as a distraction this year. It was great cheering for them and getting to meet the people that I met at the watch parties and stuff like that. So I will say that I guess there's a Cosm coming to Detroit, and it should be available by next season when we kick off. And I will probably try to do something from there. I don't know what they're going to require, but I'm going to try to do like a watch party from there or something like that. Shout out to Intuition Betting. I hope Seahawks beat the brakes off the Rams. Well, what exactly is your problem with the Rams, Intuition? Nick with the super chat says, we need to target and draft and free agency. This offseason should be pretty newsworthy. I see you being really busy. I've been catching U of M hoops. Them boys going far in the tourney. Yeah, that's right, man. And March Madness will be starting pretty soon. And, I'm going to be real, man. So check this out. I have not watched much. I watched the Bears game in its entirety. I have not watched many playoff games. I have been checked out, bro. Like, I've been checked out. But to go with what Mom was saying, I think you're right, bro. Tubi is fire. I watch it all the time, and it's free. No account needed. Okay, so you just turned it on. You don't got a law. Okay, that's what's up. All right, cool. Yeah, Red Wings. They're in the first place, right? In the East. So that's crazy. Maybe the Tigers will come out and do something good. And you know what? I might be watching some Tigers too, bro. I started watching them as the season was ending last year, like September-ish. I can really get into baseball now with the pitch clock. I mean, of course, if it goes 13, 14, 18 innings, you're going to be like, what the heck is this? But it was so long in between pitches before I couldn't really watch baseball, but I might turn on it. They play way too much. I'm thinking about going to some Pistons games too, man. Like getting some season tickets, or maybe, you know what I might do? I might just like buy a 4-pack one time and just go to, I've never been to Little Caesars. Want to do that and check that out as well. So as a matter of fact, y'all, what I might do, I know the Pistons play at They play at 7, I think it is, somewhere around there. So I might, when we wrap this up, I think I'm gonna. I was gonna do a members only live stream after the Super Bowl, but I might do one today. Okay, so Will I Am says I hate the pitch clock. Why? I watched a little of Chicago Rams game to root against Stafford. Wings are kicking butt. Hockey is tough, man. Hockey is tough for me to watch, but it is fast paced. With the Pistons winning it again, put pressure on the Lions. You know what, Zero? I say yeah. But you know what, bro? It doesn't take much. It's not going to take much for the pressure to be on the Lions. And I think that we are going to see that, man. I really, truly believe that this offseason, to go with Mon's point, he said that it's going to be pretty newsworthy. I think he's right. We got to find out, what are we doing with Taylor Decker? Like, think about where we are. I've been to one already. Little Caesar Arena is dope. Yeah, man. So I feel like that this year. So I'm totally expected in March to get contacted about season tickets, and I'm going to keep them. I haven't canceled my wait list. I'm not losing $200. I haven't, I've thought about it, but I'm going to keep them. And cause I know I would regret it. You know what I'm saying? And, I think that this season is going to be, I'm kind of excited about it, because all the things that we've talked about leading up to this season have to come to pass this year. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, Brad Holmes. This is the most subdued we've ever seen him. I'm telling you, man, we already discussed there was a conversation that happened behind closed doors about the future of this team. I do not expect Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell to be extended anytime this year at all. It just doesn't make sense to do so, because if Sheila extends them, she is saying that she believes we're close. We're close enough from she believes in 5 years that we're right there. I don't know if she believes that. I think you have right there, and then you have like a step below right there. And I think Sheila thinks that we're that step below, because she said in her letter how it was not time for drastic change. And that was another thing too that I wanted to talk about. Let me see, it's Me Too. That's when they turn it up. They have no choice. Yeah, agreed. Remember the DJ reader tweet about us not knowing what's really going on. All right, so I actually still have the. Okay. All right. So last week, or within the last 2 weeks, we talked about Sheila Hamp and the letter that she sent to fans, season ticket holders. If you were a season ticket holder, you got it in an email. Her mom used to do that. I think her dad used to do that too. But we went over it and things like that. And the more you look at it, the more that stands out. So we brought up incumbent, and how incumbent basically means duty or responsibility, obligation. It is Sheila's obligation. She looks at it as an obligation, right? She looks at it that Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, the entire organization has an obligation, a responsibility, a duty to bring the city of Detroit and the loyal Lions members a Super Bowl. There is no team in the NFL that wants it as bad as we do. And I will stand on that. Oldest team in the National Football League to never be in the Super Bowl. Only NFC team to never be in the Super Bowl. I mean, we are an OG team, from the Portsmouth Spartans to the Detroit Lions. And we've been the Detroit Lions since yo granddaddy was born. And depending on how old you are, maybe your dad. My dad was born in 1947, right? So Sheila realized it. I truly believe that Sheila realized it. And we're going into year 6. Hasn't time flown by? We are now in year 6 of this regime. Seems like just yesterday we were still wearing masks. We were doing Zoom interviews and Zoom press conferences, and we were firing Matt Patricia, and 9-7 wasn't good enough, and we can't beat the good teams. I mean, you asked me, it seemed like Caldwell getting fired was just yesterday, but it's been, check this out. So it has been 5 years since the hire. This is year 6 of this regime. It's been 9 years since we brought in Matt Patricia, and it has been 13 since we hired Jim Caldwell, somewhere around there, like maybe seasons. Okay, 12, 13, somewhere in that ballpark. And Sheila, I believe her. I know a lot of you don't, and that's okay. If SOL is right behind your door, peeking to get in, and you holding it at bay, that's okay too. Sheila, to me, has, in her brief time as Detroit Lions' like primary owner, she has shown that, to me, she means business. She might not be very vocal about it, but her biggest test to me, and she passed with flying colors, was firing Bob Quinn with Matt Patricia. Now, we all thought it was going to happen that Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving of 2020. We thought he was fired, and I didn't know what to expect. All Friday, we're waiting on this news for Matt Patricia to get fired. We woke up, Saturday it happened. Fine, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, and here we go. So Sheila, to me, although her family has a history, I mean, we went, even when her mom was primary, and we were talking about sell the team, there were shirts with her face on it, sell the team. I haven't heard that in the last 5 years. But in going back to Sheila's letter to fans, and we're talking about Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and the time that they have. And I want you to pay attention to that first paragraph. She says, I also want to acknowledge that our results on the field this season were not what any of us envisioned, and frankly, were not good enough. And I think that she means more than what you think. She means the defense. She means the 9-8, right? She means losing 3 in a row, something we hadn't done in 3 years. So they were not good enough. Think about that. You got good, and that goes in line with Dan Campbell. I know Dan Campbell is the one who uttered the words, we're good, okay? You have good and then not good enough. So that tells me that her standard is higher than just good. And I like the frankly. Like, we're just going to be blunt and honest and direct. They were not good enough. But here is the part that I wanted to revisit. While we do not believe it is a time for drastic change, that half a sentence is what I want you to focus on, because the more you marinate on it, you understand what she's saying. She's saying it's time for change, but not drastic change, which tells me that not too far behind change is drastic change. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not at drastic change right now, which would be a new regime or firing one of the two men or even upper management change. But it is time for change, just not drastic, not yet. While we do not believe it is a time for drastic change. So it's time for change, but it doesn't have to be drastic. Not yet. That time could come. Going into year 6, they have not been extended for a second time. See, the NFL is not for long. What have you done for me lately? Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell earned their extension. No doubt about it. 2 NFC North titles, a first seed NFC Championship game. But I want you to remember, they got extended after the NFC Championship game. We're talking about the bar was wow. A lot of us didn't expect us to be in the game before the Super Bowl in year 3 of this regime, but we were. Sheila saw that, and she felt confident enough to extend both gentlemen. Blink your eye, it's been 2 years since that. Dan Campbell is in the last year of his deal. Brad Holmes is going into his extension with no word of a second one, because Sheila wants to see change. That's what she wants to see. Because if you look at the whole totality, right, of what has happened, we have done this. We have Millennium Forced. We have gone up. We have Top Thrill Dragster 2. We have gone up And now we have not been the same since the NFC Championship game. Now, we had 15-2. None of that mattered. We didn't even win a playoff game. Sheila understands that because we've been double-digit wins. We've been the first seed. We've tied our franchise record at the time of most wins. All that is over here. That is past. That's past. So the present and the what have you done for me lately is what? You missed the playoffs. And see, I think Sheila is smarter than people give her credit for. I really do when it comes to results. She might not be, and you know what's funny? And I just thought about that. Ooh, you better be glad I didn't remember this yesterday, Saint. Your owner doesn't know ball. Your owner doesn't know ball, bro. Like literally doesn't know ball. She has to ask about things. She cuts the checks, but she don't know ball at all. She don't know nothing about it. Is this a good guy? Is he? Yeah, Sheila, let me tell you. She got Brad Holmes explaining things to her. All right? So your owner don't know ball either. It was a sucker move, bro. I'm going to be salty about that for a long time. And you better not drop a pass, bro. Like he done painted himself into perfection because he drop anything. He does anything. Lions fans going to be on him. So back to Sheila. Sheila is telling me with not coming out, extending Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell before the offseason really gets started, that she needs to see more. And I'm going to be real with you. I don't know I don't know outside of a Super Bowl appearance, what will buy these guys more time? I want you to put in the comment section on rewatch. Put in the comment section if, from your opinion, what would Sheila have to see? I mean, realistically, because right now they have 2 years remaining. As of right now, that could change by the time you watch this video. Maybe it has. What do you think that Sheila needs to see from Brad and or Dan to extend them further? Do you think it needs to be another division title? Do you think it needs to be a number 1 seed? Do you think it needs to be an NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl? My personal belief is right now it has to be Super Bowl appearance. I think that's enough for her. Or it has to be NFC Championship game. Slugging it out and we lose freakishly. That's what I think. I think Sheila, by not coming out, and remember, let's go back to 2022. Lions are 1-6. Everybody is calling, you know what? We done got burned from Patricia. We need to fire. Everybody was like, maybe we need to fire them. I don't know. Brad, Dan, whole staff, 1-6. No. We just dealt with 3-13-1. No, we're not doing this. Sheila comes out, the only time we've seen her during the season, and backs both individuals. Standing on Allen Park's facility, the field, came out, said, I believe in these guys, blah, blah, blah. We fired Aubrey Pleasant, turned it around. We 8-2 rest of the year. Everybody's talking about us. We put out the Green Bay Packers. Ended Aaron Rodgers' NFC Green Bay Packer career. The only time Matt LaFleur hasn't made the playoffs was that year. Came out hot, smoking. Everybody's talking about us. NFC Championship game 2023, 15-2, first seed 2024. She did not come out. Now, the owners' meeting happens in the next several weeks. There could be a conversation. We could get, as a matter of fact, when we get those clips, we're going to dissect those as well. But maybe something will change. Maybe we'll get more information then. But as of right now, I don't think that Sheila is convinced that these two guys are the guys. And I think that they're going to have to make a minimum of the NFC Championship game, lose in dramatic fashion, heartbreaking fashion, or they have to make a Super Bowl. I think that will be enough for Sheila to give them a little bit more time. But if they make the Super Bowl and lose, and they get a second extension, if they don't win a Super Bowl by the end of that extension, they'll be gone. It's been 5 years. Their contract ends after 7 years, people. 7 years. If you went to 6th grade, your kid is out of school. Like in college. If your kid was in elementary school, they're about to graduate. That's how long it's been, if you look at it like that. Or you can say it's been almost a decade by the time this contract is over. That's even worse. So let me know your thoughts, man. That's what I believe. I would love to hear your thoughts. Man, what are we talking about James Houston for? What are we talking about? What are we talking about James Houston for? 15-2 was disappointing when we lost in the first game. Yeah, man, 15-2 meant nothing. And you know what's so heartbreaking? You know why I had let me just say this. So for the sake of this illustration, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it was because it's super personal, but say it was like hives, right? It was something on my body that appeared out of nowhere after we lost to Washington, but it took a couple days to form. And I'm like, what is this? Where did this come from, right? And it was stress related. Stress brought it on. So I'm thinking about why I think it happened. Like y'all don't understand. I'm sitting at, shout out to mine and the big homie as well that hooked me up with the tickets. Yes, I paid for them, but the seats was miraculous. So I still need my Jared Goff head, by the way. But I'm sitting there and I am my heart is beating the entire time. And it wasn't, we were in the playoffs. We had clinched the spot. We were in the playoffs. We knew we were going to be seed 1 or 5, right? I remember being in San Francisco the week before, and we needed Green Bay to beat somebody. If Green Bay would have won this game, then if the Lions would have beat the 49ers, I think it was the 49ers. So if the Lions would have beat the 49ers were already done. If Green Bay would have beat somebody, the Vikings. If Green Bay would have beat the Vikings, then all we would have had to do is beat San Francisco. And I was at that game, and I was like, oh my God, this would be so lit to just be chilling and have no stress and be the first seed. So I'm sitting in Ford Field. Got my Jared Goff head, blue beard. Terrified. And I'm terrified. You know why I was terrified? I was terrified of losing. You know why? Because you know what the first seed does. Statistically, look at the NFL playoffs right now. In the AFC, you have seeds 1 and 2. In the NFC, you got seeds 1 and 5. The first seed pretty much guarantees a Super Bowl. It guarantees a Super Bowl, bro. And I'm sitting and I'm having PTSD from the year before in Levi's Stadium. And I'm saying, oh my God. So if we win this game, we are the first seed. We've got home field advantage. We get a free game to the Super Bowl. All we need to do is win 2. And I was terrified, bro. Lions came out. Alex Anzalone, first game back. They flying. Boom, everywhere. Offense is clinking. And then Alex come back 3 and out. Crowd is going crazy, bro. It was lit. Crazy. We killing Sam Darnold. Next thing you know, Jahmyr Gibbs going off. Score. 31-9. Wasn't even a competition. We let's go. We got the week off. We get bye week and chill, watching the playoffs. I'm like, yo. So I was terrified because the 5th seed means we're going to start on the road. We're going to play the 4th seed. Okay, cool. The odds of us getting a home game are super small. And now, the Super Bowl odds drop. They drop. So we would have had to play the Rams, right? We would have had to play the Rams. And I didn't care nothing about that. And we would have been the ones. We would have gone to Arizona, whatever it was, because the wildfires were going on and stuff like that. Can you believe it's already been a year? And I'm sitting there, man. I'm like, yo, this is it. I'm not saying it wasn't like halftime at the NFC Championship game. I'm like, yo, first seed, man, we can do this. We got a free game. It's all at home. You got to come through Ford Field. I'm trying to think about, okay, how the heck am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? And then nothing. And I was sick, bro. Like, and then a couple days later, I'm like, what is this? Where did this? I'm like, what is this? Where did it come from? How did this appear? And turns out it was stress, bro, because that stress started a week before the way I looked at it, y'all, was, and if you look at the statistics of Super Bowls and higher seeds, most of the time, the higher seeds are in or win the Super Bowl. And we're most of the time. A 7 seed in the 5 or 6 years has been a 7 seed, has never won, right? And that pretty much belongs to the Green Bay Packers, to be honest with you, in the NFC. If you look at it statistically, the year that we went to the NFC Championship game, y'all remember what seeds were in the championship games? They were they were exactly the same in both conferences. You remember what they were? What 2 seeds went to the NFC to the championship games in 2023? Got to peak at the right time. When your whole defense is injured, it don't. Let me see. I get that. He had a career high, but the dude broke his leg. I wouldn't want to see that again. So have a quality edge opposite Aiden. Fave says 1-3. 1-3. It was the 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. They were the number 1 seeds. It was the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. They were the number 3 seeds. The number 3 and the number 3 and 1 seed went. It was almost the number 3 seed on both sides. Still a higher seed, right? That's in the top half of the seeding. And if you go look right now, after this stream is over, go look at the last 15 years of Super Bowl seeding or playoff seeding and look at how many higher seeds make the championship game and eventually make the Super Bowl. It's very rare that you see seeds 5 through 7, and 7 is fresh. So we'll say 4 through 6. It's not as often as you may think. So the higher you fly, the bigger you fall. Yep. So listen, here we are. And I don't know where the Hutch conversation, y'all be kidding. You know what, man? Oh, Lord. What the heck? Dog. All right, so we got 2 updates. And they're not Lions related, but they're worth talking about. Update number 1, 8 minutes ago from Bleacher Report. Dolphins star almost assuredly, meaning Tyreek Hill, will be released before March 13th. That's coming from the Miami Herald. So we pretty much knew that. But here's the one. Rodgers could return in 2026. Aaron Rodgers. Steelers have eyes on Mike McCarthy for head coach, but it's not only for Aaron. I wonder if that's why coach stepped down. Brethren with the super chat says Hutch is on the defensive player of the year finalist and comeback player of the year, Derek. He won't win defensive of the year. No, he won't, because I think Myles Garrett is on that list too. I think. But I don't know, man. I saw that list. And I was like, I don't know, dog. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I appreciate you. I really do. Had to get on today to talk about Stafford because we will know on our next show, which will be Monday, if he is going to his second Super Bowl as a LA Ram. And we are about to go on Royal Caribbean. It's called Miss the Playoffs of the Seas. As a matter of fact, they changed the name. They shortened the name to Playoffs of the Seas because the teams. So this boat, this Royal Caribbean boat, is Dang. Okay. This Royal Caribbean boat is exclusively for teams that have been eliminated from playoff contention. So it's called Playoffs of the Seas. They got in the ballroom, you can watch the playoffs, okay, which is a real thing because I watched the Super Bowl from the ship. So you can watch the playoffs. It has an NFL field for those people, like a short 20-yard field for those people who just aren't ready to pack it up. They got a weight room. They've got a recovery. And, the Lions opened it up to fans. You know what I'm saying? I tried it, and I got the hookup. You know what I'm saying? Brad Holmes, he saw my video. He wants to have a conversation with me directly. You know what I mean? So I just want to know if his bodyguard's going to be there. I don't know, man. But anyway, here's a fun fact. Brad Holmes and I are the same age. Yeah. Woo! I hate to have that job, bro. I hate to have that job for sure. But, he's so cool, calm. He should look like he young, but we are the same age. He is actually just a few more months older than me. That's it. He's like 3 months older than me. You couldn't really tell. With that being said, man, I appreciate y'all. I will see you. Enjoy football. Enjoy weekends. Stay warm. Stay safe. And, take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. Will Stafford go to his second Super Bowl? We will see.
I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, madam, with you. My heart won't let my feet do things that they should do. You know what? You're lovely. You know what? You're so lovely. And oh, what you do to me. I'm like an ocean wave that's bumped on the shore. I feel so absolutely stumped on the floor. When you dance, you're charming and you're gentle, especially when you do the continental. But this feeling isn't purely mental, for heaven rest us, I am not asbestos. And that's why I won't dance. Why should I? I won't dance. How could I? I won't dance. Merci beaucoup. I know that music leads the way to romance. So if I hold you in my arms, I won't dance. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, madam, with you. My heart won't let my feet do things that they want to do. You know what? You're lovely, ring-a-ding-ding. You're lovely, and oh, what you do to me. I'm like an ocean wave that's bumped on the shore. I feel so absolutely stumped on the floor. When you dance, you're charming and you're gentle, especially when you do the continental. But this feeling isn't purely mental, for heaven rest us, I am not asbestos, and that's why